And the first of the major signs was the arrival of the Dajjal. And then when we left off last week, this was at the peak of the Dajjal's power on this world. And this is where he will have spread his fitna as far as wide as he could. At this point, Imam Mahdi, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, and the Muslims at that time, they will be in Syria, in Damascus. And as they are about to perform the Fajr prayer, they are all already worried because Dajjal is waiting outside with 70,000 soldiers, and the Muslims are losing at this point, a major loss. It is said that at this time the Muslims will be so hungry that they will eat their own bowstrings. At this point, at the end of time, it is prophesied that these wars will not be fought with guns and missiles. These will be fought with swords and arrows. How the world will get to that point, Allahu A'lam. But that is what we have been told. And so this is the halat of the Muslims at this time, that they are so hungry, so beaten, that all they can eat is the string, the possessions. And then it's that this time, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised, that He will never leave the ummah without any help. Allah sends Isa alayhi salam. And this is the belief of the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that Isa alayhi salam will return, he will descend. But now there are people and there are sects that are trying to disrupt this belief and deny it from Ahlul Sunnah. And this is not something new, this is an old attack by the non-Muslims upon Islam. That you guys always talk about that your prophet is the final prophet. He says it in your Quran, and he is the seal of all prophets. He says it in your hadith, that I am the final messenger, final prophet, and there will be no prophet after me. But then your same beliefs include that Isa alayhi salam will return, Jesus will return. How does this make sense? And this is the attack they put onto us, but again it's a very basic answer. That when Isa alayhi salam returns, he will not return as a prophet, he will not return as a messenger with a new law, with a new book, with the Bible revamped. He will return and come as a ruler. He will come as a king or a khalifa. And more of the proof of this is a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said that how will you be when the son of Mary, i.e. Isa alayhi salam, how will you be when the son of Mary judges or rules by the Quran, not by the Bible? Again, killing off any argument that Isa alayhi salam will come for other qawms, other nations. We are known that he will come for the ummah of their Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. When Isa alayhi salam comes, as is famously known, he will destroy the cross, he will slay the pig, and he will abolish the jizya. The reason that he will destroy the cross is a backhand to these Christians that have made him the Son of God. For those that have given him godly status, Isa alayhi salam is shutting that down. You thought that I passed away on this cross, I did not. You worship me as if I had sacrificed myself for all your sins. You were wrong. Your sins are still your sins. This is a Christian belief. That when Isa alayhi salam died on that cross, apparently in their narrations, that he died for their sins. So whatever they do, they are free when they pass away. Which again does not justify justice or righteousness. The hadith carries on and it says that Isa alayhi salam will slay the pig. The reason he will slay the pig is in the Bible it is prohibited to eat the pig. Pork is prohibited. But then the Christians and high-ranking priests will change this or will ignore this. So Isa alayhi salam will come and make an example of this pig and say, this is another teaching that you do not follow of mine. Then he will abolish the jizya. The reason for the jizya, or what the jizya is, it is a tax paid to non-Muslims living in a Muslim land. And it is expected that, okay, you want to live with us, just give us tax, give us a bit of money, that you live under our protection. At this time, Isa alayhi salam will abolish it. Why? Because the world and the destiny of time has reached such a stage where there is no option of do you want Islam or do you want to live. Now you either accept Islam or you go from this world. The only people that will be left after the Dajjal will be who? Isa alayhi salam and the Muslims. So they're saying at this point, there is no other choice for you. Either accept Islam or your book is closed. This stage that we are at, as I mentioned, there will be a great famine. The Muslims will have their backs against the ropes. Isa alayhi salam will then descend at this time. He will descend whilst the Muslims are preparing for the Fajr prayer. And it is said that he will descend on the white minaret east of Damascus. And he will descend with both his hands on the shoulders of angels, and he will be wearing a yellow or golden tunic. Now, Imam Nawawi, rahmahullah ta'ala, the famous author of the Arba'in, he's mentioned that this minaret is already there. We know which minaret it is, it's already made. But now if you were to go to Damascus, if anyone has been to Syria recently, which I doubt, but there they are building minarets. Masjids are building minarets. Why? Because they believe that, okay, if we build one, Isa alayhi salam might pick us. But they don't realize this is not a matter of choosing, this is a matter of destiny, it's already been ordained. Now, as I had mentioned, the Dajjalic army will be waiting outside, and their siege will have reached a state where they are winning by a large margin. Isa alayhi salam will descend, and the people will notice him. And the narration says that a man will call out, "O Ruhullah." This was the name of Isa alayhi salam. "O Spirit of Allah, come lead us in prayer." Remember during how we get over the iqamat, everyone is sorting the lines out. This is when Isa alayhi salam comes. And they say to the people say to him, "Ya Isa, you go forward, you lead us." And what does Isa alayhi salam, the Messiah, reply to them? He says, "No." He goes, "This is an ummah where the leaders create leaders. This is an ummah where the leaders will lead themselves, and I will lead behind one of you." And they say, the ulama say that this is the honor upon the ummah, that a prophet of Allah, not one of any ordinary prophet, one of the 5 major prophets will read salah behind Imam Mahdi rahimahullah ta'ala. After this prayer has happened, Isa alayhi salam asked the Muslims that, "Why are you struggling against this wicked liar? Why are you not fighting this Dajjal?" And the people will respond to him that, "Ya Isa, this is a jinni man." What they mean by this is a jinni man is that we don't think this guy is human. As I mentioned last week, we went through some of the powers that Dajjal will have. He will be able to bring people back to life. He will be able to bring food and water in a time where there is severe famine. These are powers which people will fall for. He will show you heaven and hell, and people with weak iman will fall for these things. So the Dajjal asked them, "Why are you not fighting them?" And they are saying that this is not ordinary, this is not human. And if you look at his powers, you wouldn't blame them. Then Isa alayhi salam says, "Go open the door." And if you can imagine, if this was the masjid and the door was back there, Isa alayhi salam says, "Go open that door then." As they open the door, both wide spring open, they will see the Dajjal stood at the front of 70,000 Jews, as they say his soldiers will be. 70,000 laid in the most expensive armor of the world at that time. And they'll be stood. And as soon as the Dajjal notices Isa alayhi salam, he's not waiting for Isa alayhi salam, he's waiting for Imam Mahdi and these Muslims that are nearly ready to be finished off. As soon as the Dajjal sees Isa alayhi salam, they say that he begins to melt like salt melts in water. They say this is the effect Isa alayhi salam has on Dajjal, that for some reason he just can't stay in his vision. So Dajjal sees Isa alayhi salam and begins to melt. He gets scared and he genuinely runs off. And the army looking like, this was our grand leader, where's he running off to? And they begin to follow him. And then as the story develops, they will find themselves in Jerusalem. And this is where the war will end between the Muslims and Dajjal. The Dajjal will be escaping and the Jews will be hiding. And as we famously know, the trees will speak out and they will say that there is a Jew hiding behind me, come take him. So whilst they are hiding, Dajjal is running. And if any of you have been to Palestine before, or Jerusalem, you may have been to Bab Lud. This is a place where they take you for ziyarat. And in that place, you can see the exact spot that Dajjal's body will fall. When Isa alayhi salam finally chases him down, Isa alayhi salam will throw a spear. Again, I mentioned that these wars will not be fought with guns and missiles, they will be fought with bows and spears. And the spear will go straight through Dajjal's chest, and he will fall in this place called Lud. And if you to go, it is just as we have our streets, and on the side of the pavement you have them gutted on the floor. This is the same look. And when we were going there, they said that this is exactly the point where Dajjal will fall. Now, this is the beginning and the start of a beautiful time in the world. And the reason this is a beautiful time is because there is no more falsehood. There is no more fitna. There is a prophet on this world who is a king. And every single human being left on this earth is a Muslim. Money and wealth will be abundant, no one will starve, no one will even accept gifts of charity. They say, I already have too much. And then, as I mentioned last week, that the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned that these major signs fall like beads of a string. We mentioned one bead last week, which was Dajjal, and we have covered this bead, which was the coming of Isa alayhi salam. And next week, inshallah, we will cover the remaining signs, beginning with the emergence of Ya'juj and Ma'juj, the two armies that will raise havoc on the earth. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us strength and tawfiq to become pious Muslims, and that if we are to be in them end times, that we are those that are part of the army of Isa alayhi salam, and those Muslims who are well wished by the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينَ.